Yeah, hi. So, Arun, I think I already explained temporal. Let me check. I have a script or not because it's a, we can say, history table basically we are creating. Temporal, temporal table. So let me show you, and you got to know. So,
Yes, you have explained Bhaiya.
yeah, so uh, one second. I'm going to explain in a brief. So, sec, you can see here, we created one table. Okay, this column is important. Whatever like employee number, e-name and salary. And after that, we are auto generating this column from date and to date. Okay. Period for from and to date. It's we are passing from date and to date. And in, you can say with clause, I'm saying system versioning on, and we are putting this historical change into the employee history table. Okay. So basically what happened, let's suppose initially I created this table, nothing is there. So let me insert some data into it. I'm going to insert, okay, what is happening? Employee table is, no, okay, I created, you can say, it's, I think we have to create another table, one. I'm going with this. And history table should be one history. Okay, I'm creating this table. This is a temporal table I'm going with. And if you want to version of the table, like let's suppose I'm inserting a data into it, one. So you'll get in this table whatever data inserted. No, it's a one. Sorry. This table data inserted and default whatever column I said it's inserted. But if you go with this table, same table, we didn't insert anything in this table. Okay. So nothing is there. But if you want to change whatever data inserted, Rajesh to Rajesh Singh. So let me update with this. Okay. Oh, it's a different one. One. I'm saying this. Okay, imply table, I have to go imp one. And let me update this data. And you will get a changes in this table. Sorry, here is this. Are you getting this? Because whatever initially data was there, you can see this replicated into the history. So temporary table you can use for the versioning. And if you want any audit information, like just like a trigger, initially what happened? When like some sales table and purchase order table were there. So basically, some people is like adding some item into the purchase order, and after purchase, they updating a data. Like let's say initially they mm, created the purchase order for five table, five like items, five book or five mobile, and after sometimes one they pick like a four assigned to any employee and one assigned to him because he's not assigned anything in a, we can say documented, or you can say software label. Only they assign four, and after that they came back into the stock and they updated with a whatever value actual four updated, and one is like a, it's not available into the stock. So for this case, if you want to audit or want to create a history or something like a CDC, you can go create this temporal table, and in temporal table you can manage your historical data basically. So I think we have to like if you have query like I will upload those video, and you
Is it
got
like
to
a
know.
query store?
Yeah, tell me.
History data.
Yeah,
History
tell.
table will act as a query store.
Yeah, tell me again, please.
Yeah. My question was, whichever the table you said for temporary purpose,
Mhm.
will that act as similar as the query store to
Query, no, no,
check
no,
the history?
query, no. Query store is not, because it's a like a query store. Basically, we are pinning a multiple plans. Basically, query store, something like
Okay,
that. But here is an
okay,
actual table. We are not creating, you can say, actual, but it's creating an actual table, whatever table, because in memory we created. It's available into the memory. But this table, both table are physically exist. Just like you can say CDC or maybe slow changing dimension, maybe you will be implementing. You got to know this.
Okay.
So this is a, we can say, replica table, and each and every whatever changes you are doing, like let's suppose I deleted some record. In trigger, we have to mention create create trigger on update or delete. If anything in a deleted or inserted, we have to capture into the history table initially, and it's degrading a performance whatever query is there, because each and every like a DB are suggesting, please don't create trigger over the table. And what trigger they are creating? If anything inserting, updating, or deleting, they creating a historical data into the history table, like order history, order table. So something like that, if you want to implement, so you have to go with a temporal instead of trigger, because trigger is a dependent. Let's suppose I allocated some data, I put exclusive lock into the history table. What will happen? Your trigger will wait till completion of insertion into the your table, history table. So instead of a, you can say, uh, go with a trigger, you have to replace this part with a history or temporal table. Now I'm starting with a resource governance, because this is a important, and last time I think theoretical I explained to Arun. So let me explain once again. Arun, if you are okay, I can go ahead and explain in, because resource governance is a hot topic. Yeah.
No issue, Bhaiya. You can.
So resource governance, basically what happened? Like let's suppose we have a resource. I'm going with like a some like a 1 TB like a memory we have. And let's suppose I have a two category of work or two category of process. One category is a paid category, one is not paid. Let's take example for Amazon or Flipkart, whatever e-commerce website. So for e-commerce website, payment part, order part is a very crucial, you know already. And if any people is viewing a record like a order history, something like that, it's not a crucial for the payment, or you can say company growth, basically. So basically they deciding like this part is a very, you can say, important, or you can say it's a for the growth of the business. So they putting like a 60%, 70% of resource for a specific user. Okay. And if those people are reading a data, they are going with a like a checking order history, like a last year history. So it's not a, you can say, crucial, or you can say income derive work or operation. So for this type of work, basically in a resource governance, we have to create a resource pool. Let's suppose I have a two pool. One pool I decide like a 60% of CPU and memory I have to start consuming. And one pool I created like a 30% or 40% of CPU and memory will consume. So if any person is going to buy or adding a cart and purchase, going with a payment way gateway method, so I will assign, you can say, resource, high priority resource pool, those available with a 70% or 60% of your CPU and memory. So I will allocated those resource pool to a specific task. And if any person is a viewing or like a checking a history, or you can say order history, or checking a details, so those part is a, you can say, low, you can say it's a not crucial for us. So we have to go with a different workload, like a default workload. So basically, in this resource governance, what we can do, we'll create a resource groups pool, and then next step, I will bind how much percentage of CPU and memory will start consuming. So on basis of usage, you can directly assign. Let's suppose I have a two applications, SQL application, and one is, you can say, one person is requesting for the .NET, one person is requesting from the API. Okay, two requests is coming into the SQL server. One request is a .NET application. It's a website, something called it's a locally intranet performance appraisal website. Another is coming from the Amazon.com. So Amazon.com is a high priority for me. And you can say local internet appraisal system is a low priority for company income or you can say. So for, you can say, e-commerce or Amazon, I will assign 70%, and local internet, I can go and assign default or 30%, 40%, whatever, like a priority for your use case. So you can see in this first topic, first step, we are creating, you can say, resource pool. In resource pool, maximum CPU percentage and maximum memory percentage we are assigning here. Okay. So I created the high priority pool and defining a 70% and 70% of memory. And then we are creating a, you can say, workload group basically. And workload we are assigning or mapping with a whatever, you can say, pool I created. So let's suppose if I can request, I have to create one function, and those function can route what should be like a memory and CPU you want to prepare. So I think this two line is a very straightforward. Basically, here we are limiting those, and it's already I created. So let me roll back. Roll back. I already created. Yesterday I tested those part. Okay. This resource pool cannot create because already exists. So let me drop this pool. And before that, first we have to like when we'll go for the rollback, first you have to drop a, we can say, workload basically. If you will not drop, then you will not able to drop your resource pool here. And next, I'm going whatever function is there, I'm removing this. Okay. So it does not contains. Okay, nothing is there. So first step, you have to create your pool, assign how much percentage of like a memory CPU. Second, you have to map with your workload group, basically. In function, let me explain here. This part you have to understand because you're working as a DBA. So how you can check this part? So basically, I'm creating a function, and this function will route your application or your user, basically. So basically, I created a, you can say, group name. Okay, and group name, whatever group name I created here, you can say this group name, and this group name associated with a 70% and 70% memory and CPU. So I'm saying here, if app name is a my application, if I'm saying like, let's suppose check. So two case you can go through. First, let me go through with the application so that you got to know which application is a requesting first. So this, if I will execute in this application, let me execute from here. You can see it's a SQL Management Studio. Let's suppose you are trying with a .NET application, you will get a .NET application name here. You got my point? Application name will provide what application is connecting and requesting to your SQL instance. Okay. Let's suppose you don't want to go with a, you can say, application. You can also go with a, maybe you know, as user name. So on basis of username, let's suppose I'm saying I have a X user, and X user use into the payment gateway, or you can say Amazon website payment gateway page, or you can say adding a cart page. So they are using this user. Like let's suppose I'm going, if I will check here, you can see what SQL logins they are using. So SA we are using for now. So if you have created your user, and those user is specific for your cart, those you have to mention here. So instead of going with the application, let me go and change this part. So in application name, I can mention whatever application, and you have to route your request with a resource. If I can go with a SA, what should be resources you want to allocate. I already created a workload, and workload associated with a, you can say, resource pool. Okay. So whatever resource pool, they will try to map with these groups. And by default, I'm going with this. You are good this? So if username is a essay, then we have to go with a 70% memory and 70% of CPU. Okay. If your application name is a, let's suppose I'm saying here is a application name amazon.com. Okay. So you can check in a SQL server, like when we are connecting with a maybe any application, you will get application name from the application name. On basis of application, like a two application are there. One application is high priority for me and one application is a low priority for me. So you have to create your function with the application name and route whatever resources you created. And then next step in a resource governance, you have to classify whatever function you created. And automatically, when this group will come, like let's suppose I'm saying, I'm going with this application, they can go with a 70%. If I'm going with any other application, else part, it means though they go with a default. So default, you can create your default. Once again, you have to create a pool and create a default work group. On basis of your utilization, you can create a number of resource pool. Multiple if statement, if else statement you can add. Like here, I'm saying like a 20%. Some cases I'm saying 30%. Whenever I created with a 40%. To total should be 100%. You can bifurcate on basis of your utilization. So maximum capping you can go through with this function only. Okay. Any query till now for this one? Sec and Arun, do you have any query basically?
So for nothing.
So
No.
instead of this one, you have to replace if you want to go with a username also. Okay. So that's why I'm mentioning this and I will share those information. And multiple if statement you can create and you can assign whatever pool you will create it. Okay. So let me go with another topics. Do you know encrypted backup? This part. How you can encrypt your backup? Like let's suppose I have to physically share backup to any people. Like let's suppose I have to share with Arun, and let's suppose if I will share straightforward, like I took a backup without encryption, he can restore those database into the his system also. It's not a problem. But if I can encrypt and if I will not share password or key, private key, then he will not able to restore those backup into his systems. So Zach, you know this process, how you can encrypt your database backups or decrypt your database backups.
Using TDE.
No, it's a master key only. We'll create a master key and then we can script like a, we'll, you can say encrypt your database backup. While taking a backup, we have to go with a encryption method basically.
Okay.
So, and Arun, do you have a query? Do you know how you can encrypt your backup and how you can restore your encrypted backup into your systems?
Yes, Bhaiya, when we do start backup any database, so we will take by scripting, means code, and on that time we will do the encryption. We will put the encryption before that on the in the script, sorry. And
Uh,
when we restore these encrypted backups, so we need to master key with the username.
Okay, basically master key is important and key, private key is a very important. Okay, so let me go through process because it's a straightforward only. You know backup. So first a step to encrypt your backup, and you have to configure your backup encryption. First, you have to create your master key. Okay. Let's suppose I created a master key, enable master key with a credential this. And after that, I created a certificate basically. Sorry, certificate is also important. Without certificate and private key, you can't restore your backup. It means three important parameter to restoring or any encrypted backup. First, private key. Second, in you can say certificate, and third, what is a credential password of those. Without three combination, you will not able to restore any database. If encrypted database you are getting. Okay. So first you have to create a master key into the master database, and then you have to create a certificate. So certificate just like a subject line we are providing so that any people got to know what is the purpose of this certificate. Okay, so some simply it's a subject line also. When we'll took a backup, so basically we have to mention whatever certificate we created this. Okay. Next point. This part is a very straightforward. If I can go with this one. It's created a master key. I'm creating a certificate, and then let's try to take a backup. And in backup, basically certificate, server certificate, I'm going with a this one. Here is a 256 is also encryption is also there. If you can try this. So let me try this also. So I want to take a backup in this type. Let me check any backup are there or not because yesterday I tried those. Okay, let me remove this part. So what is important for you? I created a backup. Now backup is created here. But straightforward, if you want to restore this backup, you will not able to restore into the any instance. So if I can go with a different database servers, let me go with this one. Demo DB is there. I think it's a different one. Let me try with a different instance.
Raj,
Yeah,
sorry
tell
to
me.
interrupt you. So, is it bit similar with TD? Like, I am not pretty sure with TD, but I believe there is an option like a master key where we have to, enter all the time of restoration.
Yeah, TD is a transparent data encryption. It's ongoing, like whatever data files are there, you can encrypt your data file also. Data file, secondary data file, log file, each and everything. Some cases what happen? Let's suppose I have a data file, okay, and some person detach a stop service copy and they copy into the this local drive. Okay, they can restore directly. But if you implemented a TD, you can't restore those data file also. But here we are going with a only backup basically. And for TD
Okay.
is a master key is a master key is a common for both case. Like if you are going with
Oh,
a, you can say certificate associated backup or private key or certificate. So master key is a common for both TD and certificate both. But you can generally what happen they create. I work with a even habit, and I know you can implement some Commvault something like a data protector. We can also protect our data. Like let's suppose my
okay.
data file into the C drive. I protected C drive. So if any people stop services and move that data into the D drive, attach will not work basically. Your data attach or data completely lost after moving a data C drive to D drive. Let's suppose I stop service, copy into the local drive, and I try to restore data file, restore not attach basically. If I detach and attach data file into the different SQL instance, it's not work basically with the help of data protector or TD, transparent data encryption basically. But master is common into the both cases.
Okay.
So I took a backup and I'm trying to restore into this database. So I'm not, I don't know it's created or not because I didn't create anything here. So let me try to attach, restore this database. You will get a some in certificate related issue you will get there. I took into the this and let me try to see what is happening. Okay, okay, let me see. You can see cannot find server certificate thumb and print. Okay, so without certificate you can't restore your databases. Okay, so first you need this certificate. So what I can do, let me create a backup of the certificate. I'm going with a backup certificate and we are creating like a backup certificate as well as private key. And here is a credential, whatever I'm using here. So I'm going to,
I
yeah,
hmm,
tell me.
I I think we have to restore the backup file with restore header and check if it is encrypted or not, right? Before
Yes, header
restoring.
only, yeah, header only you can do. You'll get a like a
Okay.
header only, file list only, it's a work. But when we'll try to
Hmm.
restore, that should not work.
Okay.
So now I'm going to take a backup of this certificate and private key into the certificate folder, same drives. Okay, it's cannot write verify write permission. Okay, I think I already executed. So no, okay, it's not a cannot write into this drive because verify your write permission. Their file valid or file does not already available. Okay, backup. Basically, we are going with the backups, and this path is a correct. Certificate is already there. Okay, already there. So we have to, which server I'm using? Let me check it's a certificate available or not. No, sorry, I deleted a folder. Sorry, I didn't, certificate name folder is not available basically. That's why we are getting this issue. Okay. So now I will take a backup, a private key and certificate into this certificate folder basically. So let me try to do this part. Backup certificate. Okay, it's done. So now you'll get a two certificate and private key. So without this and this password, whatever password is there, encryption password, this password is important for you. So if I can restore this like a certificate into the your instance, you'll get your database will restore. So let me try to go through. So same step, what you have to do, we have to create a master key. For restore, I also created this restore point also. Let me go through with this. Okay. So if I will create a master key and then whatever path is there, we are creating a certificate and from this file, basically, just like a restore, and whatever file is there, whatever disk decryption password is there, we are mentioning here. So if I will create this certificate is already created. Once again, if you can try with this server, SQL 01, you will get your database will restore it. It will not create any problem. So let me try to restore basically. So now if you can try to restore, you'll get all the file list and your data will be restored. Let's see. Now you are not getting any issue because I created a master key along with certificate we created. And now we are not getting any issue. Yeah, you can move your file because same because all three instances available into the same laptop, you have to change your path. Okay, and restore. That should work. And if you can drop this master key, so first you have to drop a certificate. Oh, sorry. And then you have to drop your master key. Okay. And if you'll try to restore, that should not work because without master key and certificates, basically, and certificates contains with a file, you can say private key and certificate, both information. Okay. And after that, you can try and restore your database. So it's a straightforward after creating a master key, nothing else. Sharding, we already explained. It's a theoretical only. I explained like if some cases why sharding is important here. So it's splitting a large data set into the smaller, into the, you can say, multiple different database server if you can restore. Some cases like if you can equivalent, you can treat just like if we have a multiple file I created and we did a table partition, and in table partition multiple file group I created, something like a file group for financial data 2021, 24, 23, 24. So basically multiple partition, multiple actual file I created into the multiple drives. So if we have a multiple file group, multiple partition is there. So on top of partition, you can create your, you can say, indexes also, and that index will help improve your one partition, a specific partition for your use case, basically. So something it's a related to like a, it's a large data set splitting into the multiple, you can say, chunk. Same thing like if we can also go through like if we have a large volume of table into the systems. So if you can try to delete those data, so you have to go with a split, something like a split fashion instead of going with a whole data. Something equivalent to, you can say, a splitting a split backup also, you can consider those part also. So sec, I already explained it into the theoretical. Masking, I already explained. Masking is a very, you can say, straightforward only because when you want to like protect your data, let's suppose you have some columns and it's a very secure column. So if you want to go and protect your columns, so basically we have a data masking. So in data masking, we have a dynamic and a statics are there. So dynamic basically, let's suppose I'm saying like we have some Aadhaar number in India and I have to mask only 8 whatever numeric digit and 4 digit we have to unmask. So if you can create a, you can say, masking of data like a dynamic masking with a default, all data will be masked just like a XXX. And if you can go through, I already went through with a demo also in a same class video, you'll get all the information. It's a very straightforward. Partitioning, maybe you know, mainly we have a two type of partition, left and right partition. On basis of left partition generally consider it's less than equal to, and right partition only you can say less than, not equal to condition, they are not following. Row versioning, I already explained into the temporal table. In temporal table, you can create your versioning of the data. Some cases you can also replace with a CDC, change data capture also. CT, you know already. Parameter is snipping like let's suppose, I think this part also I covered. How you can go with a parameter like if parameter snipping is happening into the your server, what should be solution? How you can proceed? So if you can go through like in yesterday video, you will get all the information basically. Temp DBS spill I can explain because uh, I I already captured the answer. You can say sorting. Basically, when we are sorting our data, large volume of data. So that time, I already said like a sorting order by clause or something DBCC reindex we are doing. So most of the time we are consuming a temp DB. All sort operation, temporary operation happening into the temp DB. And due to like a temp DB, it's exceeding, and you can say it's a temp DB, a spill is happening. So to like we can say minimized TAMDB spill. What you have to do? Basically, you have to split whatever query you are writing. Like let's suppose I'm going with the entire data, and after that we are doing we are going with the order by clause, and after that we are going to derive and adding some filter condition. So most of the time, you have to add filter condition at the time of joining or subquery, basically. Hash joining, basically what happened in same part, sorting is a one operation, same another operation hash join. I said, if hash join is happening, it means your table does not have a indexes, and that's why it's going with a temp db, you can say a spill. So if we have a proper index, so that they will not go with a table scan or indexes scan, basically. So hash join, it means they referring to us. You have to create a proper index into the participated table, basically. Aggregate function is also causing, you can say, TAMDB spill. So when performing a large aggregation, it's a same operation. They are starting using your TAMDB. So you have to minimize on basis, instead of going with the entire data set, you have to filter out, and after that start using a, you can say, aggregate function on it. So basically what happened when you have a cause of TAMDB, you can go through, you'll get a clarity, a straightforward, basically it's a mention.
Okay.
Insufficient memory, or you can say high concurrent workload, poorly optimize your query, large data set. These are, you can say, TAMDB. And if you want to check which query or which sessions is TimeDB, so here is a easyspl1 command is there. If you can try to search, you'll get to know. Let me go with how you can minimize, basically. Increase memory allocation. Let's suppose you have a low memory configure with a SQL instance. Try to provide adequate memory into the SQL instance. Main thing you have to focus, your query should be optimized, your table should be correct index. You'll not get a table sp TimeDB spill, basically. And here I'm saying a appropriate data type. Let's suppose I have a pin code, and if I mention varchar max, so it's like a wastage of, you can say, spaces. And if we have a high volume of spaces allocated, but we are playing with a 6 digit or 6 character only, so when we'll try to update, or if you are going to aggregate, you will get a bad performance. So instead of going with a varchar max or big you have to go like a specific. Let's suppose we have a master table, and those master table have only 100 records. So instead of going with a big int, you have to go with a tiny int, a small int, or in data types. So this point is a very important, how you can minimize your TAMDB spill. Okay. And Sec, we already covered this point also. So if you can go through like a same video, I will upload for today, and you got to know. Okay.
Sure, Mr. Rajesh. I'll go through it.
And if you can any query, you can add, and you can ping over the chat, like a group chat. We'll try to figure out.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Thank you.